Sausage Party is the new R-rated animated film brought to us by Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg, and this movie focuses on the secret world of food. There's a world where the humans view food as we've always seen it, but then there's another world where the food actually interact with each other, they talk, they joke, they make sex references, and they view the humans as gods, because whenever they get taken out of the grocery store, out of those doors, they're entering what's known as the Great Beyond. Unfortunately, though, a group of foods finally find out the truth about the Great Beyond, that it's a bunch of BS. Now, when I first heard the idea of this movie, I was hooked, especially when I found out that Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg were doing it. I thought that is probably going to end up being one of the craziest things I think I've ever seen. And when the trailers came out, I instantaneously got excited to see this movie, and I was not disappointed. Sausage Party, I'm just going to say it, it's one of the craziest things I think I've ever seen in my entire life. It is absolutely bananas, and I absolutely loved it. This movie was so hysterical. Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg, seriously, round of applause to these guys. They knew exactly what to do with this kind of premise. They knew exactly what to comment on as well, because there's actually some really funny social commentary in there as well, like race, religion, all that stuff. And I think they did a really good job writing this movie. The jokes were so funny in this movie. I laughed throughout the majority of this movie, but then there are also scenes in there that made me laugh even harder. There is multiple scenes that I cannot spoil, but there's a big scene that gave me the biggest reaction. I could not stop laughing, because it started off with the, okay, I knew you were probably going to do this at one point, you know, it's pretty funny. Then they did something else as the scene kept going, and I was like, oh, well, I actually didn't know that was going to happen, but alright, that's pretty funny too. Then the scene kept going, and kept going, and kept going, and eventually I laughed so hard that tears were coming out of my eyes. Literal tears. That's how funny that scene was. No spoilers, obviously. You have to see the movie to find out what I'm talking about. And the cast, this is such a huge cast. I cannot mention everyone in this cast, but believe me, they all do a fantastic job portraying their characters and working with the amount of crude humor that's in this script. They all did a very good job. Seth Rogen and Kristen Wiig as this hot dog and hot dog bun, I really enjoyed their chemistry together. Their relationship was really funny. I actually found some humor in their relationship, and seeing how their relationship kept unfolding throughout the course of the movie was also really funny. And also I really enjoyed the relationship between a Lavish and a Bagel, played by David Krumholtz and Edward Norton. Edward Norton in particular, I never would have expected him doing a movie like this, but he did it, and he was absolutely fantastic in it. I'm so glad he was in this movie, especially one line near the end of this movie that just had me, it was really clever. I died laughing. And I really enjoyed Michael Cera's character because he is an underdog, more of an abnormal shaped hot dog, and how they went about making his character actually grow in the movie was frickin' crazy. And I honestly did not see what he did coming. No spoilers, obviously, but that was insane. And before I mention the next two characters, I should probably mention that this movie is trying to offend you. If you're a person who's easily offended, you can't take a joke that much, or you're offended by if someone makes fun of your race or religion, gender, or anything like that, steer clear from this movie, because you will be offended. You will be pissed off. And Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg, I'll tell you right now, they probably didn't care about that whatsoever while writing this movie. So with that being said, Salma Hayek plays a character named Teresa, and she's a taco. And not only was that just really clever casting, but this character also has a relationship with Brenda, and how that eventually played out was actually really funny, and I didn't really see that coming either, and it eventually led to a really funny payoff during that scene that I mentioned earlier. No spoilers. And finally, the villainous character of this movie is a douche, played by Nick Kroll. Now, I'm not saying that because all villains are douches and they all are portraying it like a douche. No. He is a literal douche. Nick Kroll plays a literal douche villain. And it's so funny. At first it starts off like, okay, he's kind of acting like a douche because he is a douche. He's saying bro to everyone. But eventually what this character does throughout the course of this movie made me like him even more. And later in the movie, let's just say he takes control of someone. And I'll just leave it at that. Absolutely brilliant. The best way I can describe this movie's plot and the commentary it's making and the humor, this is something that Trey Parker and Matt Stone would do on South Park. They'd write up a fake scenario, have it reflect on something that's actually happening in the real world so they can add their own commentary on it. That's kind of what the commentary is in Sausage Party, like if Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg were Trey Parker and Matt Stone. And it works so well. I only have a couple gripes in this movie, and that is that there are times where the humor just kind of stops in a scene or the humor just kind of fell flat, and that's to be expected in some raunchy movies. There are times where the humor doesn't always work, but the best thing about this movie is that this movie had consistent laughs. Even when it kind of slows down or when the humor kind of stops, eventually after that scene though, the humor would pick right back up. And I was a little worried that the profanity might get on my nerves because that was the thing people were complaining about, and I noticed that in the Red Band trailers everyone was kind of swearing in that, so I was a little worried that maybe the profanity would get on my nerves, but it actually didn't. It didn't wear on me whatsoever. My last problem with this movie is that even though I find this movie's plot really brilliant and all that, I think they could have touched up on some things. Like, this movie's told from two story perspectives, and they spent so much time on story 1 that when they eventually got to story 2, I almost forgot about those characters. And near the end of the movie, it was really clever what they did, but it just kind of left me with some questions about the world because something happened that just made me go, well, that was really funny, but what about this and this? But overall, Sausage Party knows exactly what it is. It's a Pixar movie gone horribly wrong. Sausage Party is absolutely bananas, and if you're into these Seth Rogen type comedies, I think you're going to absolutely love Sausage Party. I had a blast with this movie, and I'm going to give Sausage Party a B+. If you're easily offended, if you're not a fan of Seth Rogen's type of comedy, you should definitely steer clear from this movie, especially with the kids. Keep them away from this thing. You'll scar them for life. But if you love Seth Rogen movies, or you just are really curious about this movie, definitely go see it. You will not be disappointed. But if you've seen Sausage Party, leave in the comments below of what you thought of it, and as always, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe. I'm Jackson Fulcher. See you guys next time.